I'm Gökçe Özgen, and I'm an English instructor at Istanbul Medipol University, and I've been enjoying with English File for approximately 5 years.
Hello, my name's Jose. I'm a school principal at an adult education center here in southern Spain, and I'm here to talk about English File.
Hi, my name is Stuart Tynan. I'm the Director of Studies at Lingua Viva Centre in Dublin, and I'm going to talk about English File. We've been using this book for many years, since before I became Director of Studies at this school, and obviously we've been very happy with it because we've continued to use it for all these years. We've upgraded as time has gone by, so we're now on the 4th edition, which is the latest edition of the book, and we're really happy with it.
Hi there, Tom Neat from Saarland English Club in Germany. It's a pleasure to recommend English File series from Oxford University Press. I've been a fan since the 3rd edition, and now we use all of the 4th editions, both in paper form and in digital form.
Hi there, my name is Hilary Sheps, and I'm the Director of Studies of Intuition, a language school in Bologna, Italy. I've been using English File for about as long as I've been teaching English, so upwards of 11 years now, and it's just a fantastic series. My first time working with it was when I was getting my CELTA certificate, but afterwards, when I was in Calabria in southern Italy, I used it to teach teens and adults at a private school. And I absolutely love the series.
I have had the opportunity to teach face-to-face and remotely with English File. And I must say that it really offered flexible teaching and learning tools for both scenarios, especially now that the 4th edition is available in both print and digital format.
It's 5B, The Way We Met. That's the name of the unit. It's pretty much been my favorite for quite some time. I like talking about relationships in English so students can master new vocabulary when they get to know new people. And what I do like about this unit is that it's really well done. The listening activities are embedded into the grammar parts of the textbook in a very good way, and they can just practice different grammar points as well, like present, past, and it gets very personal. We all like talking about ourselves, like our life in the present and our life in the past. So it provides students with lots of speaking opportunities. Yeah?
My favorite lesson is Modern Families from English File Intermediate, because apart from the vocabulary on family members and personality adjectives, students are taught how to politely refuse to talk about uncomfortable family topics. I also like it because the writing focuses on the description of personality traits in the form of a self-portrait poem, something that my students found challenging and engaging.
In my institution, we are using 3 levels of English File: elementary, pre-intermediate, and intermediate. And actually, among all these books and lessons, my favorite one is called Happiness Is. Maybe you're also very familiar with this lesson. It's a very cute one. It is the 2nd lesson of the 7th unit and pre-intermediate book. So I love the lesson very much since it gives me the chance to relate to my students' backgrounds very easily. As you know, I'm teaching to university students, and they're not that younger than me. So in my childhood years, we had a chewing gum in Turkey, and it was known as Love Is all around the world, and it was very famous in those years in Turkey. So almost every child had a collection of these papers with love definitions written on it, and it was the cover of the chewing gum actually. So at the beginning of my lessons of Happiness Is lesson, I remind my students those years and this chewing gum, and they always became very enthusiastic, and they always very eager to share their own love definition. definition that they remember from those years. So it's a very nostalgic and catchy beginning for the lesson, actually. After these warm-up part, proceeding to happiness definition is also, I think, it's a kind of smooth transition, and it's very effective, I guess. And it's also a good topic for this age group to discuss very deeply. They also care it a lot, and they discuss it very with their whole attention, let's say. After that, we have a listening activity there, which is also very effective to cover the grammar points very inductively, and the structures that are aimed to be produced by the students at the end of the lesson. So, long story short, I think with its all cuteness, all smoothness, and the convenience for the age group and for the local people, it is the best lesson of the book.
Probably be some of the communicative files from English File Pre-Intermediate. It's very interactive, very up to date. It's the only series that we use for general English skills.
One of my favorite lessons is in the B1 level. This beautiful green book, intermediate, B1, B1 plus, and it's called Bad Manners. And the vocabulary focus is phone language, so it starts out with little clips of cell phones, the noises they make. And then it switches into a context of a cell phone ringing during a concert, classical music concert, and the conductor freaks out, stops everything, and kicks the guy out. And it's a great language in context to bring up the target grammar, which is obligation and prohibition. And it's fantastic because we usually hear about that. We usually see that grammar in context talking about security or safety or rules or regulations for visitors. And it's so nice to see it in a context that's relevant. Especially because we are addicted to our phones. I mean, everyone has such strong opinions about cell phone usage, manners, too much, too little, maybe not, but it's really something that's emotionally charged for all of our learners. And the topic of cell phones is also something that is so easy to demonstrate. I mean, we can do tons of activities where literally we take ours out and we do examples. And it's also the perfect opportunity to establish classroom rules. What we expect, what's acceptable in the classroom to do with phones, and what isn't. So yeah, just a fantastic lesson that I love teaching and my students love learning.
One of my favorite English File lessons, it's hard to choose. We've been using so many books over so many years. I think film is always a good topic. There's an interesting one in the intermediate book, the 4th edition, about, it starts off I think about extras and the background to extras, which is quite interesting. It covers the basic and really important grammar that we need to talk about films, ED endings, which are always useful to revise for students, and also passives. So 2 big important areas for students. And then it goes on to talk about a really interesting thing about, I think it's a listening exercise about Schindler's List and the filming of that film in Poland. So that was quite interesting, and then a film review at the end. So it covers all the basics of what you'd want to do in a complete lesson, and also an interesting topic such as films or movies.
I do like the TV series, as I call it, about Jenny and Rob. It looks like a real series, like from Netflix or HBO, and students are really keen on it. They get hooked to it, and they love watching it. And again, it's super well done. Actors and actresses are, apart from being teachers, I guess, they do perform quite well.
I prefer using some realia, some daily stuff in my lessons as supplementary materials. So it is not that difficult to come up with some creative realias in the lesson with English File. For example, for the 11A, lesson 11A in the pre-intermediate book, I used some childhood photographs of the famous people mentioned in the unit in my lesson as the warm-up part. The unit's name is Ask the Teacher. So I started the lesson with a guessing game, and I asked my students to guess who these people are, and it was a really fun part of the lesson. And after that, we learned about these famous people's childhood period and their subjects that they're good at or bad at. It was a really fun lesson for me and for my students as well.
There are so many things at the back of in the teacher's book, but also we use the online presentation tool, which is excellent. So at the back of that we have the photocopyable materials for grammar, communication and vocabulary. So there's just so much there. Probably really useful supplementary material that we sort of came across a bit more recently was in the Teachers Resource Centre, the pronunciation video guides, which are excellent. So I think English File in terms of pronunciation is great because it does it throughout the whole, through each level. I know some other course books, pronunciation is either forgotten about once you get up to B2 level and above, or it's sort of relegated to the workbook. But English File it's an important component of the course book throughout all the levels, which is great. And in the Teachers Resource Centre there is an excellent video showing the teacher and the students the physical process of pronouncing the letters in the phonetic alphabet, or the words, I should say, the sounds in the phonetic alphabet. It's a really good resource, and if you haven't seen it, it's excellent.
First of all, make the most of the students' book online practice and encourage them to use it to revise grammar, vocabulary and pronunciation. Secondly, make full use of the Teachers Resource Center. Personally, I use the photocopyable activities to make a booklet in order to draw my students' attention to grammar, vocabulary and communication. Then, the classroom presentation tool is of great help to share the students' book on screen during online lessons. You can present interactive activities, show answers, and play videos and audios at the touch of a button. And last but not least, I recommend using the English File tests, not only to check students' progress continuously, but to help you identify precisely what they need to improve and how to do it.
In terms of supplementary materials, of course, I love all of the communication activities in the teacher's book. But when I want to integrate my own materials, my go-to is videos. These could be YouTube clips, clips from news shows, social media, like some nice TikToks or something. But just an example, there's a lesson on inventions from Dragon's Den. What better way to introduce that than by showing a clip of a flop of an invention or an incredibly successful one? I think videos just really make everything more relevant for the learners.
We are big fans of the classroom presentation tool because everything is embedded, and even now when lessons have returned to some kind of normality, we are still using a projector to show the students the answers in front of them on a large white screen.
Again, there's so much useful supplementary material to get students talking.
Anytime there's an activity where the learners have to respond to strong statements, like it could be about driving rules, stereotypes of men versus women, cultural differences, students just love it. They love expressing their opinions, seeing what they have in common, some differences. And above all else, English File provides so many opportunities for learners to talk about themselves, their opinions, their experiences, their likes and dislikes. And what do people like more than talking about themselves? I mean,
a speaking exercise about books. It was students are given quotes. They're either the first or the last line of a famous novel, and they have to decide if it's the first or the last line. It's interesting in itself, and it also, I think, generates a good discussion on the importance of opening and closing lines in not only books, but also that extended to films, to plays, and even songs as well. So it was a great springboard for a wider discussion.
I can't think of just one. My students have enjoyed a variety of speaking activities. For instance, when they presented a product to the whole class, as they were appearing on a TV program such as The Dragon's Den, or when they took part in a role play where they pretended to be job seekers answering extreme questions in a job interview.
I really like the speaking activities of the book. They are all very organized and fun, but my best one is, I guess, in the intermediate book, the speaking activity of the lesson 4A. The activity wants the student to identify the good manners and bad manners universally and locally, actually. And especially for this age group, it's a very good debate topic. It took it took a long time for us to debate on it, and it was really fun for me and my students.
So in general, just a fantastic series. We love the content. It is so good for learners. It's engaging, it's interesting, it's up to date, really gets them talking. And let's not forget about the teachers. I mean, it is a fantastic series, especially for younger teachers, less experienced ones who really need all of the content set out in such an explicit way. But also for more experienced teachers who can kind of pick and choose the bits they want to do, what they know they can skip, what's relevant, what's not. So just a fantastic solution. Keep up the great work. We love English File, and we're always happy to use it.
And so, in a nutshell, I can say that as a teacher, I find it very teacher-friendly. I really like working with this book, and I can say that it is my #1 supporter in the classroom.
The big benefits are that it does improve all of the 4 key skills, especially speaking. We like the fact that the Advanced Plus series exists. It's very difficult to find books at that level, at that very close to bilingual level.
To bring course books to life and to bridge the gap between the English classroom environment and real-life situations, I've been using the source texts and videos that have been adapted for teaching purposes. Then, for online lessons, I use breakout rooms to improve both students' writing and speaking skills. And to practice vocabulary and grammar, I've been using a variety of online teaching resources, such as Kahoot, quizzes, live worksheet, to name a few.
We get great feedback from our teachers. I think one of the best things about the course book is the amount of resources available. It's fantastic. In some ways, it's almost too much, but it's a great problem for teachers to have, that they can have such a wide variety of supplementary material to choose from and to put into their classes to make them more interesting.
All in all, I do like the book in general, every single unit. I use it all the time with my students, especially when it comes to listening and reading activities. That's what I appreciate the most in a textbook, because the other material, I can just make use of my own things. But listening activities are very well aligned with the grammar concepts we're covering in the textbook.